get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid, the most popular homesteading channel on YouTube that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading at all. And we're not even off the grid, and we don't even try to hide that fact at all anymore. First of all, here's what's going on today. So I've been sitting in the house for hours, literally hours, waiting for the rain to stop so I could come out and make a video. And once I finally said, you know, it's just not going to stop. Just like a watched pot never boils, a watched rainstorm never ends. So I put on my slicker, my raincoat, if you will, and I came out and it stopped raining. So anyway, we're going up here. I got some really weird things to show you. Strange things. You know, it actually starts over here. Let me go around this way. So I was online the other day and I saw this article. It was something like, it was called The Strangest Things People Have Seen in the Woods while they've been out in the woods. And I'm going to share a couple of them with you because they were kind of creepy. But I believe I found something in my woods here on my homestead, in the fields and the meadows and up in the forest. That's weirder than anything I read about online. One of them's here. I mean, check this out. Look at this. Look at this Leland cypress tree. Yeah, obvious, isn't it? Obvious. I've got more because I've figured out what it is. Wow, right here. Same thing. Him, her, it, or they. Wow, same thing. They're really tearing these things up. I know what it is. I know what's doing it. I've gotten so much strange video footage here in the last few years. We've got trail cams everywhere. We've got CCTV, closed caption, home security cams, field cams, trail cams, wood cams everywhere. You've seen a lot of that footage. So you know what the heck's going on here too. But I'm going to kind of show you some more evidence and then see if you can figure it out before I have to point out the obvious to you. So one of the things that was strange, this article I was reading it, and actually it was the comments section that was actually more entertaining than the article itself. And isn't that always the case? I'll tell you. So something's in that forest. Him, her, it, or they love to come out in the rain. They love to come out when there's like some sort of weather event, moisture. And you know, for those of you who are into such things, you know that the veil is always thinner at elevation, which is where we're going, where forest meets field. For some reason, there's a thin opening right there at the where the two come together, and moisture for some reason has an effect. And closer to sunset you get, and we're not far from it now. So in the article, there was a person that said they were hiking somewhere in West by God, Virginia, and they were going through the forest. They had gotten off the trail. They were trying to take a shortcut or something, I guess, across from one mountain to the other. And in the middle of the forest, they came up on a large field, and they figured, well, this is probably somebody's farm. I better not cut through this field. That's trespassing. And I tell you, man, you got to be careful doing that kind of thing out in rural America, because you never know, man. There's like two types of rural people I've found. There's the kind that are the salt of the earth that'll give you the shirt off of their backs, even if they need it more than you do. But if they see that you're in need, you're the one that gets it. And then there's the kind that will kill you if you look at them cross-eyed. So, and you never know which is which. So you never want to take that risk. It's always best just to, you know, not trespass. So that's what this individual was doing. I heard something up here, I'm telling you. So they started making their way around the field, like staying just inside the wood line, like somebody could do here, stay inside the wood line. And like we've caught somebody's doing before on camera, dark cloaked figures, sometimes not so dark, sometimes quite, robed in bright colors. I'm looking. So anyway, they get about halfway around this field, as we are now, as you can see from the house down there, and they see like these people in the middle of the field, and they're adults, and all they're wearing are like adult diapers, and then they're wearing adult diapers on their heads, and they've got like some kind of like a pole placed in the ground, like a pole with a big post coming off the end, and they've got a pig of all things hanging from this pole, and they're burning it, and they're like chanting in a language that this person said they'd never heard before. And he like, just as this person, because it didn't say if it was a male or a female, woman or a man, just as they kind of realize what's going on, the people like turn and look at them. And so this hiker gets this deer in the headlights look in their face, looking at the person or looking at the people, and they get the same look. And like at the same time, the hiker turns away and back into the woods and starts running up the mountainside near dark, just as fast as they can. They said they never found out what was going on, and they would have no way of knowing how to find their way back to that place again. So that's proof that there's some really strange things that go on in the woods. And I found something even stranger than that. And I showed you some of it there in the beginning. And I've got more evidence here. I'm looking as I go, and I hope you are too. I'm trying to, I believe, here's some right here. Guys, I'm just going to get to it. I honestly believe, and this, I mentioned the comment section can oftentimes be more interesting than the actual content section of an article or a video. It can also be more enlightening. And based upon comments that I've read on some of these strange videos, like one where some old bastard seems to just fall down this hill right here, and like he's got some sort of potentially cloaking device and whatnot, and disappears he at least disappears off the screen. We don't know where he went, but I'm convinced, based upon comments and based upon the evidence, more of which I'm going to show you right here, right now, I have, within these woods and on this property, like a cult of witches or Satanisters or something. Because look what they're doing. It's like they're making signals for each other. I'm going to show you another one. See, you saw those trees. It's like, oh, maybe the wind just blew hard and those trees just rubbed together. Look at this. Oops. I walk out into the meadow just a little ways, right? You see this perfectly healthy pine tree? And we're reforesting this meadow. It's like 2.5 acres back here. It used to be a hayfield. We're letting it grow back into a beautiful forest. Look at what these, this cult of potential Satanisters have done to this beautiful tree. Look at this. This wasn't like this last week. This wasn't like this. And now our cameras are picking up cloaked figures. Some of them dark cloaked figures. Some of them not so dark. Some of them are bright orange. Some are green. But they're obviously communicating with each other by tearing up my trees at random places around my property. I showed you the Leland cypresses down there. Here we have a beautiful loblolly pine coming up from seed. This thing has taken 5 or 6 years. And these Satanisters are like, we can't let this beautiful tree just be a beautiful tree. We've got to let it be like a billboard of sorts for us to communicate. These people, and I use that term very liberally with them. I'm giving them more credit than they're deserving of by calling them people. But they can do magic and do really weird stuff. I bet they were watching me in my house, looking out the window, knowing I was trying to come out here and find them. Because they probably know I read that article. They probably got me bugged, you know. They're like, you want to see weird stuff in the woods, brah? Watch this. We're going to make it rain until you just give up and put on your slicker. Put them rubbers on your big ones. You know, your big size 12 feet there. And then when you come out, we're going to make it stop raining for one thing. Some people think that only the government can control the weather. You don't know what these Satanisters can do. I got more to show you. So, anyway, what else was strange in that? There was one, and this was in the comment section, and I thought this was really interesting. And the person said, you know, I never saw this in the woods, but it was weird nonetheless. And so their experience was kind of more like paranormal type. She said that her grandmother had recently died, and so she was an adult by this time, and her mother went to the grandmother's house, and there was this one chair that the grandmother always sat in, and no one was allowed to sit in that chair, and the old woman was a real nag about it. I mean, she'd go upside your head with a bottle of Bub, like 50 cents, in the club if she saw you sitting in her chair. So nobody sat there. They just knew not to. Look at this. More evidence of a Satanister. You talk about weird things you find in the woods. You see this? This wasn't like this last week. This was absolutely not like this. And I'll show you something else strange too. This wasn't like this yesterday when I came out here. Look at this. I cut this off to make a walking stick. This is a gray birch tree. Look how old that cut is. I cut that off months ago, but look how fresh this is. It's like something, and look at this. It's like someone or something is like scraping, they're like rubbing the bark off of these trees. You know what? And they've been doing this the last few Novembers too. Didn't notice it, you know, until this field started growing back up, till this, you know, became a meadow that's now becoming a forest. And all of a sudden, catching all these weird things on camera. And every like late October through November through December, potentially these Satanisters are coming here and they're like communicating with each other by rubbing on these trees. All right, so anyway, you talk about weird stuff you see in the woods. You've never, ever run across anything this weird, have you? Could you imagine being out in the middle of the woods? I mean, there's nothing out there, potentially. I mean, you know, we're still looking for him, her, it, or they. We don't know what's out there, but we do know there's rabbits, there's bears, there's squirrels, there's deer. But these are just harmless animals. They don't destroy the flora and the fauna like that. And if they did, why would they wait until like a particular time of year to do it, like October, November? What are you going to tell me there's some kind of species out there that just goes around rubbing on trees and crap and taking the bark off of perfectly healthy trees like in the month of November for some reason? That's not even close to being believable. And you guys all know who Mark Twain is, right? He said it himself. He said that fiction was actually harder to write than nonfiction because fiction has to at least be believable. And that was Mark Twain. He wrote Tom Huckleberry, brah. He knew what he was talking about. So anyway, you know, I could show you more. I've got one on a pine tree down there. Just the other day, Thanksgiving. What a nice view, isn't it? What a nice view. Look at that. The other day at Thanksgiving, me and my buddies were up here at the campfire, and I walked into the woods just a ways to relieve myself. Saw one there. Saw just a tree just all scraped to hell, you know? So I'm going to get them. I will find them. We've got them on camera. We're going to keep looking for them. Oh, but the thing, you're like, what about the chair? I know. Listen, if you must be new if you thought I wasn't going to finish that story, brah. I always get back around to it. Everybody that's been coming around for a while knows that. So they were in the old lady's house. She had recently died. And the mother, who's now the senior matriarch of the family because her mother just died, sits in the chair. And she sits there and they're watching TV or something. And she gets up to go in the kitchen. And her daughter says to her, you know, when you come back in this room, you better not sit back in that chair, because, you know, no one's allowed to sit in that chair but Grandma. And the mother turns around and looks at her and says, well, she ain't here to say anything about it now, is she? And they heard slam. And they turned around, and that chair had turned around 180 degrees and slammed into the wall. And the girl who submitted this comment on that article, see, there's that tree. You see what them Satanisters were doing? She says that she's never experienced anything like that before or since, and she never believed in the paranormal, and she would have never believed a story like that if someone would have told her, but it actually happened to her. So I read that stuff, and I was reading that, and I was thinking about, you know, bringing out more examples, but I thought, why don't I just come out here and show you all the weird stuff I've been seeing in the woods around here? Because we've got them on video. Got them on. You see how easily I walk down this hill? It's because I'm not a Satanister. I didn't fall down this hill and roll down this hill and then try to use a cloaking device to get away. There's some weird stuff going on around here. I'm fixing to find out what is at the root of it. So whatever. I'm going to go back in the house and take my rain jacket off and hang it up to, like, not dry because it's not wet. Try to get some work done around here. By the way, I want to thank each and every single one of you who've been doing your shopping, be it Christmas shopping or not, on Amazon, and by going through our Amazon affiliate storefront there. Just something new we're doing, and we have been pleasantly surprised with the degree of success we've had here just in the last few days since taking that seriously. And that's only because of you. It's only because of you, our viewers. We really do appreciate you more than you'll ever know. So don't think that just because we're going to take on the Amazon affiliate market now that we're not going to be here doing the YouTube thing, because we are. Maybe in a lesser degree, but that's not necessarily been by our choosing. I think I shared this a while back. I was asked to pass the plate here among you subscribers here some time back by enabling super chats, which I've done. And if anybody ever gives a super chat, I absolutely am grateful for it and appreciate it. But I'm not going to just beat the hell out of that drum and try to get you to do it, because personally, I just like it. If you're going to be putting out money, I want you to get something in exchange for it. So in essence, we chose not to pass the plate, if you will, and our views are being suppressed. That's just all there is to it. I've worked in social media for almost 15 years now, and I know that I know that the time to where you will enjoy a certain degree of success on any platform is limited, and it's limited by your willingness to compromise your belief system in exchange for the platform to benefit. And we've never done that. We have left other platforms where we literally made tens of thousands of dollars a month consistently because of that. We're not leaving this one because we know we have a home forever here, but we certainly are probably going to be around a lot less frequently than we have been. But hey, I'm a guy that's made a video every day for like 5 years, so I'm still going to be around 3 or 4 days a week. But we are dedicating more time to our new endeavor, which is that Amazon affiliate stuff. And in the not so distant future, we're going to be having videos on there, doing lives, and just building that up. Until we're contacted by Bezos et al. And saying, hey, we've seen you really build a hell of a following. We know how you can pinch him for some more money, most of which goes to us. At which time, we'll continue to move on as well. So again, I want to thank all of you who've been watching the channel for all these years. I want to thank those of you who are supporting us with the new endeavor by doing your shopping through our storefront. Even if you buy stuff that isn't in our store, as long as you go to that platform through our store and then make your purchases, we still benefit, and we appreciate it. So that's enough about that. That's not even what this video was supposed to be about. But they say every man has his price. Not this one, bitches. Not this one. Now, I got to go find these Satanisters who are tearing up my trees. See you for more next time. The Homesteading Off the Grid. The most popular homesteading channel on YouTube that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading.